When I started out photography, my photos just looked bland, and every time I'd go on Instagram, every photographer's photos just seemed to pop so much more. So what I'm here to do today is just help you understand Lightroom a little bit better, and maybe some things you can take away from this that can help better improve your photos. So let's get started.
So this is my buddy Brandon from Florida. He does a great job. I love his photos. And this is a really good photo right here, but there's some things we can change to make it even better. So first off, I love that it's like a tunnel effect. You can see the player's eyes right here if you zoom in. There's a lot of great stuff about this, but we can improve it. So first off, let's go to the raw file right here. And as you can see, not exactly the same, but there's some things we're going to change. So first off, we are going to find the horizon, which is basically how you get any of your photos level. So as you can see here, it's usually between the feet and the knees, and it's this white line right here. So we're going to crop and get that horizon just perfect. And this can take some getting used to get it right, but once you get it, it's gonna look good. So now I've noticed in this one he did not crop it. Some photographers don't crop. I personally like to crop, so it's just whatever your preference is. So I can see he doesn't want to crop out any more of this blocker on the right, but I'm going to think differently here since he's already cut out the guy on the left. It just makes sense to get this guy really in the center of the frame. So I'm going to have the same amount of length from this point right here to this knee as this knee right here to this point. So we're really going to line him up and make sure he is dead middle. And I think he is. It's best to always go to library, and if you think something doesn't look right cropped, go back, get a fresh set of eyes, and just take a second. Look away from the monitor, and you'll come back and be like, okay, it needs to be adjusted just a little more, or it's good. So now, once I got that good, I'm going to go through my presets right now and find one I really like, and this is a good example. So this is my preset that I like to use for a lot of football stuff, but as you can see, it changed the helmets. So if you go down here to color mixer and go to point color, I can select the helmets. And what I'm simply going to do now is drag to the right and go back to that blue that it originally was. And then I'm going to turn the luminance down just a little bit. So now this is pretty much identical to what it was in his edit, and we're still keeping that brightness that I really like. This filter is really good for skin tones. So what we're going to do next is we're going to up our shadows just a little bit. Just a little bit more. And now next what we're going to do is change the grass color. This filter is really good for skin tones, like I said, but it messes with grass a lot. That's the one thing I don't like about this filter. So I'm going to go over to mask, and I'm going to click range, color range. And now I can simply click the eyedropper tool, and it will select the field. And as you can see, the tree's behind it. And I can adjust this and refine this. Make sure it's not getting the skin of the players as well. And then I'm going to just simply, if it's simple, if you want something to be green and it's yellow, add blue. Simple color theory. And there we go. We're back to the green already. So this is already a really good image. And not saying his edit wasn't, but we're going to go up to here and create a new mask and click select people. And what this will do is it'll pick out the people in the frame, and I can select person 1 here. And there we go. It says facial skin. So what I'm going to do is slightly bump the exposure so we can see a little more of his face. There we go. And then I'm going to slide the clarity just so we get a lot of detail. I know a lot of people don't like to use clarity, but I feel like if you use it in the right ways, if that makes sense, you can do some really cool stuff with it. So already this looks really good. I'm going to zoom out real quick and show you. So this is mine. This is his. Both really good images. I prefer a little bit more crop here just so you can create that tunnel aspect. But now we're going to really emphasize that tunnel. So what we're going to do is create linear mask, and we're going to do linear gradient. And we're just going to go on each side of him and drag that exposure down just a little bit. I'm going to shift this to where it sort of creates a running lane. Same over here. We want to lead the viewer's eyes into the middle of the image, which is our subject here. So we're going to just create a little bit of a frame and bring that exposure down just a little bit too. There we go. So this is how I would edit this image. And now we've really emphasized that tunnel. Reset it for you, show you this was the original raw file, and here was my edit. Really happy with how it turned out. And yeah, thank you, Brandon, for sending your photo, and I appreciate it a lot. So our next photographer is Grace at 643 Studio, and we've got a picture photo here. Really like the ball, the action, a lot of good stuff. Like her edit. It's a lot of good stuff here. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to try and sort of change the cropping style on this a little bit because I feel like it's leaning a little to the left. So what we're going to do here is instead, I mean, this is a really good photo as is. See, there's the edit. Yeah, everything's good here. Nailed the exposure. I mean, it's framed up pretty much perfectly. But I want to try something different just to change, see if you like it differently. I'm going to crop it as a square crop and have this line go right over his nose. There we go. Slap my edit on. It's a little too bright, so I'm going to really bring those shadows down. And I'm going to bring my whites down just a little bit. And this is a little bit more my style. I'm going to drop the contrast down even more. And what I'm going to do now is make his skin not as pinkish. So I'm going to go select people, and it will automatically select them. Here we go, body skin. So now that we've made a mask of just those two things, we're going to go down to point color and select the red. We're just going to turn that saturation down. And now I've made it a little more orange, and now it's a little more skin tony-ish. And I'm just going to simply make it a little more yellow. And there we go. That is how I would edit your photo, Grace. So on to the next. All right, here's one I'm excited for. Austin, my man. This guy is based out of Memphis, and he has been killing it recently. I love his photos. There's so much character. There's so much story. He does a dang good job. This one with the rain and the hammer that Memphis uses, I don't know if you know the tradition, but Memphis smashes a cement block with the logo of the team they beat every week. And I really love the haze, the film-ish look. Really love everything about this. He frames it really good. This one, I really love how he cropped it. There's a lot of good stuff here. Same with this one. I really like this. So there's not a lot we can do, but we can get creative with it. So with this one, with the eye through the locker, I love it so much. And he did a really cool filter. This feels like a movie. I love how you crop this. But I got an idea for it. So we're going to go down here to our black and white. And what we're going to do is create basically a ring around the eye, I guess is the best way to say that. We're going to draw the viewer's attention to nothing but this eye pretty much. So we're going to fade that in pretty easily. Set the contrast, and then we're going to bump up texture. And it's hard to tell you're in a locker now, but I feel like you can still get the point across if you don't overdo it, I say. So we're going to bring this up. And look where the light sources are coming from. So let's just reset this real quick. The light is casting a shadow, sort of, it's going from here this way. So downwards. So what we would do is make the left side of his face darker. So what I'm going to do is go over here, click select subject. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and click intersect mask with, and I'm going to do a linear gradient. And this is really cool. I'm just going to tweak this just a little bit. Drop the exposure down. Let's see. And now it's intersecting with that mask, so that linear gradient is only on that mask pretty much. So I like this a lot. I really want to emphasize that eye. Let's see. Honestly, I'd do everything to get rid of this light. This light catches a lot of distraction. So I'm going to go over to objects and just cut this out almost. Now I got that light selected. I'm literally just going to dim it to the point of the highlights not drawing too much attention, but still not making it look edited almost. And I like how you can see the light bounce off the locker, so you can tell where the lights are. So you can really emphasize right here is where the light's hitting. And then I'm just going to add one more linear gradient from top to bottom. and turn those highlights down. Perfect. And then drop our highlights just a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of a brush stroke just to this. Now it feels like it's really hitting the eye, if that makes sense. I love this. It looks straight out of a movie. Great job, and moving on to the next photo. This hammer photo as well, I really like. What I'm going to do here is, you've nailed your cropping pretty much. I mean, just everything's beautiful. I'm going to go through. I really like his preset a lot. Mine's almost identical, just a little less, or a little more haze. I mean, you can see the almost identical presets right here. And then all I'm going to do is select the object and turn the highlights just to make it pop a little more off the face of the hammer. There we go. Really make it pop. Up saturation a little bit. And then all I'm going to do is add a linear mask right here. Draw your eyes a little bit more towards the hammer. And all this can be really is dropping down the shadows. And this is pretty much a great photo. I mean, phenomenal job over here, Austin, with this. I really love this. This is his edit and this is mine. It's almost identical, but just little minor tweaks here. I really like his color grade. I just wish, because like your eyes are going to work left or right. That's how we learn to read, and that's how we've learned to process stuff. So they're going to look down and they're going to look at the backpack first. They're going to look at this red backpack Memphis logo, and then the hammer draws it into the middle. So really good job. I just wish there'd be a little less people here, if that makes sense. And the way to do that is to get a little mask and draw your eyes just a little bit more in. And besides that, great photo. On to the next. All right, next we've got Emil. I love this coin flip photo. Love how it's in focus. And his edit, really good. Exactly what I would do. Love how he cropped this. But like I said, you're going to catch the ref's jersey just because natural tendency to go to bright things first. So we're going to help the viewer get there, essentially. What we're going to do is probably almost identical in cropping, really. Have that coin dead center. I like it to be, honestly, a little more middle, so crop even more. So this is my preset on it, and as you can see, the skin really distracts it. And I love the haze of the sky. I really think we should bank off that and do some cool stuff with it. So I'm going to add 2 linear gradients here to start us off. It's one right there, one right there. Sort of bring you in just a little bit more. And now all I'm going to do is select the coin. And then I'm just going to smoothly turn clarity up until that text is really noticeable. Really like this photo. Great job. If y'all take away anything from this video, is draw your viewers' eyes to the center of attention. I really like to use linear mask. Some people swear they don't use them, but for me, I like it to tell stories personally. Got Isaiah out of Southern Miss. Really love his stuff. Glad to see another Mississippi photographer absolutely killing it. So let's get right into it. This first basketball grade here, love how he made that light pop. And love how he fixed the white balance, because I know there's some stadiums in Mississippi that are notorious for terrible white balance. And just a lot of good stuff here. So this first one, I love how it's edited already, so we're going to take a different approach to it. So what I'm going to try and do here is really exaggerate that light over there on the left. I'm going to square crop this and skip sort of most of it in. And then what I'm going to do is go over here to radial gradient and just drag this out right here. Those lights right there, I'm just gonna simply dehaze them and just crank that exposure up, and then I'm gonna make it a little bluer like that. And yeah, this is his edit, this is my edit, and this is their edit. Really like both. Really good photo. And while editing is a very important part of your photography skill set, you won't get the photo in the first place if you don't know how to position. Here's a video on how I position for football games. I'm evanf.raw, and I'll see you on the next video.